Guys, happy new year, and today I wanted to show you the hardware collection, and that's sadly all I have time for. Yeah, I've been really busy lately, and I don't think I'll have much more free time until like summer of this year. So yeah, let's go over every piece of hardware here and talk about it a bit. This video will be pretty long, so yeah, I apologize for that. Okay, so first of all we have these ID cards. This is a GeForce 210, 1 GB, but it's silent. It's a pretty good display adapter, not really good for anything else. This is a Crystal CS4280 sound card. It's a very budget sound card from around 2001, and yeah, it works okay. It doesn't have very good sound with headphones on, for example, but with speakers it's actually okay. This is a Genius sound maker, I think, value 5.1. Sadly this is completely broken. I got it for free, and sadly it won't work at all. With drivers I just get some weird noises, and that's about it. Let's finish with the sound cards. We have this 8-bit Audio Max 7.1 for an 8-bit N8 Ultra. It uses a proprietary slot here, as you can see, and this one is broken too, sadly. I can't get it to work with any driver, with any operating system. So this is a fully working Radeon 9800 XT 128 MB version, but still a beast of a card. Came out in 2003, and it's a very nice version of it. It's the Median XXL, and it has a backplate here, EGP8X of course, and DVI and VGA. So a very nice graphics card. Sadly I don't have anything to benchmark it with for now. But anything with an operating system installed on it, I might have an idea for something to test it, but we'll talk about that later in the video. Then we have an Asus OC HD4850 512 MB. This is a very nice graphics card from 2008. It has 512 MB of GDDR3, I think, dual DVI, S-Video, I think there. It has a custom, put it down, it has a custom Arctic Accelero L2 Plus cooler. Stays very cool at around 60 degrees full load, and yeah, it's a very nice graphics card. I got it for $6. So it's very cheap. And we also have a 6600 non-GT with an AGP interface. Has 128 MB of video memory, and it's sadly broken. It's got a broken coil right there, and it kind of smoked on me when I attempted to fire up one day, and so yeah, that sadly is broken. This is the last graphics card from this collection. We have a GeForce 40i 4200 AGP8X128 from Median. This one is actually in perfect condition. It's almost brand new. I got it for free. Very nice deal. And yeah, As you can see, the only dust it has is from my use. It has dual monitor support, and yeah, it's in brand new condition, and I use it from time to time. It's a very nice graphics card. Now on to the motherboards. Let's start with socket 775 here. We have an Asus P5 QD Turbo. This one I got for free. It's in unknown condition. It's got a P45 North bridge and I think an ICH9R South bridge here. It's from around 2009, I think, or late 2008. It's I got it for free because it has no BIOS chip. I don't know if you can see. Don't know where it is on this motherboard. Can't remember. It's got no there it is. It's got no BIOS chip and it's got no heatsinks. And the only thing I got it to do was to power on, and with a P5GMX BIOS, it beeped, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if I will ever get this working, but we'll see. Next up we have the P5GMX here from Asus. This was my first motherboard, and I've used it with an A2200 Pentium. It was decent. It's very locked down. Only has, let me see here. It only has 2 USBs and very basic audio here. Also, just one PCI Express slot here. That's pretty common, but the thing that really sucks is that it only has one PCI slot. So yeah, it's a very basic motherboard. It's got one leaking cap, but it works. It does not support core to quads or anything like that, but for basic dual cores it's okay. It got integrated graphics, and that's pretty much it for this motherboard. Pretty basic. Let's move on to socket 754 for a second here, because we got more 775s. This is a very interesting, not very, but pretty interesting motherboard. It's got an SIS 755 chipset and 964 soft bridge here. It's the ECS 755A2 from around 2004. It's got USB 2, dual SATA here, AGP 8X, and support for socket 754 with 2 GB max. It's got a decent I/O here, 4 USBs, integrated LAN, and pretty basic audio, but it works. The processor on here is a Sempron 64 2800 plus that I managed to overclock to almost 2 GHz on this motherboard from 1.6. I think it's 1.6 base clock, but yeah, it's a very cool motherboard. I think it's got the Paris core there on the CPU. It's got 1600 hyper transport here. Very cool. The next motherboard is a pretty sad one here. We have an Asus M2N SLI Deluxe with an N-Force 4 Ultra chipset. Oh no, N-Force 4 SLI. Basically an Ultra with SLI. That is sadly very much dead. I accidentally shorted out the chipset, as you can see here, and it needs a new N-Force 4 SLI chipset for it to work. But when it was working, it was a pretty nice motherboard. Very sad to see this one go, but yeah. And we are back to socket 775. This was my first more premium socket 775 motherboard. This is a is an Asus P5K Premium. It has a P35 North Bridge and an ICH9R South Bridge, I think. We've got support for 6 SATAs. We've got dual PCI Express X16 slots for Crossfire, or I think this one is an X8 slot, but yeah. We've got Wi-Fi. We've got 6 USBs, 2 eSATAs, and 1 firewire there. It has support for all CPUs up to a QX9770 with an updated BIOS, and it came out around 2007. It's a very nice motherboard, and also rock solid and basically never fails. I've used it to overclock a Pentium D to 5 GHz, no issues with it. Next up, we have this Asus M2N SLI Deluxe with an Enforce 570 SLI chipset. Both of these boards are from around 2007 actually. This one is the 2007 revision of this board, and it has 6 SATAs. That's SATA ready there. We've got dual an X8 and an X16 slot. This is not the M2N32 SLI. We've got pretty beefy cooling here on the VRMs. Even supports Phenoms, I think. We've got and on this board they have a copper modded A5200, pretty looser cooler than on the CPU. We've got the Intel stock cooler from a Pentium 4. Here we have an Athlon 64 6000 plus overclocked to 3.2 GHz with a which basically turns it into a 6400 plus, the best Athlon 64 X2, and a very nice AMD stock cooler here with 4 heat pipes, I think. Keeps it very cool. It's got 4 USBs, dual line, nice audio, and yeah, very nice motherboard to use. Might do a SLI build with it, something like dual 8800 GTs, and yeah, that's it for this motherboard. Next up we have this Gigabyte M55, no actually hold on, okay, so kind of forgot what it's called. It's a M55 S3G plus, no, a M55 plus S3G. Well, anyways, it's a pretty shitty motherboard. It's got an Enforce 430, I think, chipset with a GeForce 6200 built in, and Gigabyte put very bad cooling on this, so obviously the North Bridge failed, and I mean, it's not completely broken, it only works on integrated video with and the colors are all messed up, and on PCI Express it posts every like 5 to 6 attempts. You have a pretty bad motherboard here. It's for Socket M2, both of these are for Socket M2, I forgot to mention. This is a Gigabyte for Socket A. We've got a Enforce 2 Ultra 400 chipset here, and it's a G7 Triton board with, and it's yeah, it's called a G7N400S, and it's pretty broken, I think. I tried it with an XP3200 plus, and temperatures are very low, only it shuts down after about a minute after you power it on. Tried different power supplies, nothing changed, so I think it's pretty dead, but I will try it again, see anything changes. Okay, and this is a very basic board from around 2005. We've got a P5GV TMXs. It's got some sort of Intel chipset on there. Actually, can't remember. Integrated graphics. Of course, no other option. This would be a PCI Express slot, I think. But it's been soldered off. It's got on there a P4 630 press card, 3 GHz. Pretty disappointing CPU, like most Pentium 4s, but it's a decent board for office usage. It's got 4 SATAs here and 4 RAM slots for up to 4 GB of RAM. It's got 4 USBs, 1 LAN, and yeah, all good caps. It's a decent-ish board. This is again on socket A. We've got a GA7N400 on N42 Ultra, no SATA unfortunately on this one, and IDE seems kind of broken. Can get it to work. I mean, this motherboard was my go-to for socket A. I used it on IDE a lot of times. However, either my IDE cables are bad or these slots are bad, because I cannot get it to work anymore. I mean, it posts with an XP3200 Plus on there and a cooler, very nice cooler, but can't get it to work. To put into an operating system, might need to buy a new socket A motherboard, which kind of sucks, but yeah. This is a very interesting socket A motherboard here. I've got a decent bit of socket A motherboards. This is an MSI MS6340 with support for 3DFX cards. We've got an AGP universal slot here. This motherboard was released around 2000. It does not support anything above 100 MHz FSB, so around F1 1100 I think is the max you can put on this. It has no P4 style connector. It uses the VIA KT133 chipset, and yeah, it would be interesting for a 3DFX build, but 3DFX cards are expensive, and yeah, it's also an SDRAM motherboard, not a DDR11, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. It still works, although it has this very voltage capacitor here that's also leaking. Need to replace that. But yeah, overall pretty interesting motherboard. It came with a Duron 800 I think. And the last one is a very broken GA7N400S. It's got one broken memory slot, broken North bridge, and this is how I pretty much got it. The North bridge damage was done by me while trying to fit a bigger cooler onto it. However, this slot was broken when I got it. And that's pretty much it. This is the subbridge, which is still in good shape. And yeah, socket has some wear on it. Like this retention clip is a bit loose, but overall it's an okay board. If we can take some parts off of it, maybe fix this one if it's broken, or if I have some broken IDE cables, need to get some new IDE cables. Until then, I was thinking of testing the 9800 XT with this, which does have SATA, and I might also buy a Pentium 4 motherboard, a SROC P4 V88 Plus on VIA P4 880, something like that. I can't remember the chipset name. It's a very decent motherboard, AGP 8X and dual SATA like this one. I might also get a socket A at some point. And that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the fully built PCs. Well, actually, first of all, these are some boxes that I have. This is for the P5 Deluxe, and this is for the M2N SLI Deluxe. Both came with all of the accessories. Let me show you. So this is what the P5 Deluxe came with. As you can see, the Supreme FX2 sound card and the IO shield and the USB and firewire extensions, and also the user manual and driver CD. Okay, and this is what's inside the M2N SLI Deluxe manual. This is a Sound Blaster CD for a Sound Blaster audio card I have, and I just keep it in here. We've got the Enforce 570 SLI and the Motherboards CD. Got a spare IO shield. We've got a weird cable that I don't really know what it does. We've got the IO shield. We've got a SATA cable here, some screws, and the motherboard manual, which is pretty cool. And this is the PCIe Guard instantly. I swapped in the AN8 Ultra, and let me open it up for you. It's got 2 thumb screws, and then the side panel just comes off like this. Let me take it off because it requires our 2 hands. Okay, so these are the internals. We've got the AN8 Ultra here from A-Bit. Let me show you a picture of it real quick. So this is what it looked like before I put it in the case. As you can see, I put on an Arctic fan for the copper cooler because the original fan was kind of loud, and that's pretty much all I've done to this motherboard. It's pretty stock. Now inside here we have a Neptune 64 3500 Plus Clawhammer 2004 core, overclocked to 2.533 gigahertz. Yeah, and the video card is a GeForce 9500 GT. It's the NX 9500 model from MSI. It's got 1 gigabyte of VRAM, and it's okay. Though I plan to get an X1900 XTX or something like that. It's got a broken fan here, so I put this Arctic one on to cool it. It stays pretty cool, but yeah. We've got a 160 gigabyte hard drive here from Samsung, SATA 2. We've got a DVD-ROM drive from LG, and a Antec through Power Trio here, power supply 550 watts, 2 rear exhaust fans, 1 hard drive fan, and one intake fan. We've got a Creative Sound Blaster ODG SE, which is what I'm using for sound because this has no onboard sound. And yeah, that's pretty much it with this PC. 2 gigabytes of DDR for 100 megahertz. And this is an ID one, but you know, I have a problem with IDE cables, so temporarily it's not plugged in. And all of this is inside the Antec Dragon case here, with 4 expansion slots here, which are easily removable, and yeah, pretty cool design. It was manufactured on the release date of Half-Life 2. Yeah, it's got the manufacturing date the same as the Half-Life 2 release date, November 16th, 2004. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This is a little door here. which has 2 USBs and 1 firewire. I've got the door here for the keys, however this is a bit broken on the door, so I need to glue it. But yeah, I will get to that sometime. This is the very janky 2008 PC. You've got a PCIE K965 cooler on here with a broken fan, so I put the Intel stock cooler on there. It's kind of on there. Need to get an RTX 90mm on there and call it a day. We've got for now, come on focus, a Sapphire R7 4 gigabytes from my old PC, and it's got 4 gigabytes of VRAM, and it's in here temporarily for some tests. We've got an Asus Rampage formula, well, a P5E Deluxe modded to Rampage formula with the BIOS, and 8 gigabytes of RAM, DDR2, deleted North Bridge chipset. Got the X48 chipset and the ICH9R or 10R, can't remember, as the South Bridge. Here you can see there. We've got the 2 USBs and firewire there. We've got actually 4 USBs plus 1 firewire. The integrated I/O has let me show. It has 6 USBs, 1 LAN, and 1 firewire. This is the Supreme FX2 sound card, a very nice sound card from Asus. It only works with the P5E series, I think. Not sure if you can get it working on other Asus boards. This is the SSD here from an ADATA SU630 I got for cheap, and this is running Windows 7 Ultimate, and this is running Windows XP 32-bit. I don't know if I'll switch to x64. And yeah, oh, and I forgot the CPU. This is a Q6600 B3 stepping from 2007, overclocked to 3 GHz for now. I usually put a 3.2 GHz overclock, but this motherboard has a very nice feature, CPU level up, and you can just select the QX6850 there and it overclocks it for you. But I might overclock it some 3.2 GHz. The max I got on this CPU was 3.78 GHz on air cooling, which placed me 9th place on CPU zip validator. It's a pretty nice PC, and all in this case, which is from my first PC. Got a DVD RAM drive here, and the VGA600 BQ power supply. This is a test bench which I use for all of my motherboards which lack a case, and this is a case from around 2000 which is waiting for a PC to be built inside it. It's got as you can see, it's got 1 floppy drive, 1 DVD ROM drive, and that's pretty much it. No front panel USB, no nothing. It's a pretty old case, and I call it the AT and ATX hybrid. It's got a similar PSU mounting similar to AT with an ATX form factor. It's very interesting and very hard to work with, because you need a low profile cooler here on the motherboard, or else you kind of have to mount the power supply here or somewhere else, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so this is a test bench. I don't actually have a P5B, but I found this box from my old house. It was my uncle's motherboard, and yeah, I use it for putting motherboards on it. This is a Seasonic S12 520 watt power supply. It's a very nice, reliable unit, 80 plus bronze, just like this one, and I use it for the testing basically. This is the monitor here, which I use for testing, a Philips 190C 1280 by 1024 resolution, 75 Hz from around 2008. This is the keyboard, an old HP one I got brand new for around $3. Then this is a basic USB mouse. This is PS2. And lastly, these are all my my CPUs. Let's start with these ones. This is a Turian AMD laptop CPU, which I don't know much about. This is a Core 2 Duo for 478, I think. It's pretty low, and might be actually Pentium or Celeron. This is another one of those. This one is clocked at 1.66. This one is 2.5. This one is better. I don't know the condition of any one of these three CPUs. This is a copper modded P4631. Might need to sand it down a little bit more to get it, because as you can see the nickel is still peeking through. It's not completely copper. This is a Pentium D945. It's a socket 939 with a bed memory controller. Plays, most of the times it throws a 04 code on my BTN Ultra, which is bad memory, and I know for a fact the memory is not bad because it works with other CPUs just fine. This is a pretty scratched Pentium 4, I think it's a 5. Pentium 4 524 here. Somebody might have attempted a copper mod on this but gave up. Really don't know what they were doing here. This is a Pentium E2200, my first CPU. This is should be a Pentium 4 530, 3 GHz, yes. This is a Pentium 4, or no, Celeron E3200 from 2009. This is a socket 478. Let me try to read it. See, Pentium 4 1.8, I think Willamette or Northwood. Pentium 4 1.6 has to be Willamette, I think. This is a Celeron, I know it's a Celeron. See, Celeron, hold on, Celeron 2.4, this might be a Celeron D. I think it's called the Celeron D. It's pretty crappy. This all of these socket ACPUs that are in this pile are dead. Got them from a repair shop. This socket 478, I have no idea if they work. Need to get that motherboard and a testing CPU. This was a Duran 950, not working. This is a fully working F164X2 5200 plus with a Brisbane cover. This is what's left. I still don't know how this happened. What's left of a Ceran for 478. This is not done by me. Got it from a repair shop and in a CPU pile. So it's another Ceran 2.4. And as you can see, I think was part of the substrate came off. That's might be a deleading attempt. Gone very wrong. Completely dead. This is an F1 XP 1800 plus Palomino. It's not working at all at the moment, and probably never gonna work. Got it broken from the same repair shop. This is an Duran 1100. This is pretty interesting. This is a Pentium 3 copper mine 1 GHz, which was pretty expensive back in 2000. And yeah, I also don't know if this works or not, but when I get a socket 370 motherboard, I will test it. Oh, and I almost forgot about this. This is an F1 XP Palomino 1700 plus. I overclocked to 2000 plus speeds. And this is a Duran 800. Both of them are fully working. And this is the RAM collection I have. Come on, focus. And DDR1, DDR2, and some SDRAM in there. This is all the broken memory, mostly DDR2. And that's pretty. Oh, actually, I forgot. This is the DDR3 memory I have. Actually sold the X58 combo, the i7 920 and P60 PC. So this is the Mushkin 1333 enhanced memory that came from it, and I kept it for in case I buy some more DDR3 motherboards. We have 6 GB in total, 3 times 2, and yeah, it's pretty nice memory. I overclocked it to 1500 MHz, pretty stable. Like I said, this is pretty much all. Let me know your thoughts down below, and see you in the next one. Happy New Year's again.